Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Good, how are you?
Can you guys start by explaining your characters in the series?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. You wanna?
Sure. My character is Jess Valenzuela. She is a 22-year-old dreamer who grew up in Baton Rouge and is this very smart, intelligent young woman. She has a lot of potential. She was top of her class and she had promises to go to college on a full ride scholarship. But on top of being really intelligent, she has a massive heart, and especially for her family. Her mother got sick her senior year of high school, and she decided to stay home to take care of her. On top of all the medical bills and her working all these odd jobs, she just is at a standstill in her life until, somebody, it's actually, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know.
I'm going to say that somebody introduces her to this Pan-American treasure that revolves around a lot of her culture and who her family is, and her family may or may not be involved. And so she kind of goes down that rabbit hole, and on top of that, being a dreamer, she's like under the radar all the time and tries to stay out of trouble. And for that reason, she understands how risky it is to go after this treasure, how important it is to her to understand parts of her family and herself, and kind of going after it with her friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And such good answers, man. And,
Thank you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I know. So Liam Sadusky carries the torch of the Sadusky name and legacy. Peter Sadusky is his grandfather, Harvey Keitel, from the first two films. And Liam is kind of a loner by nature. He's not lacking in sarcasm, that's for sure. He wants not really anything to do with the treasures or treasure hunting because he's seen directly that lifestyle and he's seen the polarity of that lifestyle. I think the first two movies in the National Treasure series, we show the weight of what it can lead to, but Liam is a direct byproduct of the dangers of living a life of treasure hunting and what it can do to a family. So he tries to stay completely out of it when you meet him. And his passion is really music. That's kind of how he emotionally allows himself to escape. Yeah, and that's another thing. I felt so lucky on the show because I'm a singer-songwriter myself. And if
Good music too.
Oh yeah, I play everything in the
Jake
show.
on Austin Walker on Spotify. Everybody, go check it out. It's the plug. It's the plug.
But I know she shouted me out. Thanks, dog.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Hey.
No, she completely exactly like. I feel really spoiled to be playing Liam, but I think that's what also makes him so interesting is I feel like the audience kind of expects him to be the guy immediately, to be like, no, let's do this, and he really has to be pulled into this hunt. And Jess is very convincing, to say the least. Yeah.
What can I say? Jess is stubborn.
Yeah.
And fortunately, she gets what she wants most of the time.
Your cast is super diverse. Like looking at the cast, how does it have just that? Like, the fact the cast family from like all different parts of the world, does that kind of like the set make you feel more comfortable?
Oh, man.
You know what? I think what was beautiful about getting to meet everyone from all walks of life in this cast was that we are all so different, but we all vibe so well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's true. We've become a family, and like, it's cool because our conversations can range from like, what it was like growing up to just like things on pop culture that make us laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. It's so crazy how, I mean, you feel like it's on the nose, right? It's like you work with the cast and you come to the interviews and it's like, oh, we love each other. But I mean,
we love each
I
other.
swear
Right,
on my
yeah.
life, we had a group chat from the beginning. And then even we had to take an extra hiatus during right before we were shooting just because of COVID getting big, and so we had a lot of time to just like we had to all
hang
be
out
with each other to make sure in our little bubble.
We've hung out so much that we have this shared album with each other of like
almost 1,000 photos.
Almost 1,000 photos and videos of all the times that we got to hang out. We went on trips together.
Yeah.
When we had time during the show, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, no matter where we go in this journey, these people will always be a fundamental, integral part of my life. Like, yeah, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Yeah, so I mean, it's awesome. Thank you Disney for bringing a freaking
Seriously.
family together. Honestly, so,
Seriously.
Yeah.
And also, I think because we were just talking about this, it's gonna be very apparent in the show.
Yeah, that's
It's-
what's really cool about
it's
it is
crazy.
like you get to build this chemistry with people, like in the line of work that we do. But in this instance, it's like it reads in real life. And one of my favorite things that I hear all the time when people come to visit set, whether it's crew or cast, they're always like, "Man, you guys all look so different. You guys are so different, but yet you guys get along so well. We're always singing with one another." But the reality is, it's like the energy that we all create together is what everyone wants to be a part of.
Yeah.
And they really like appreciate that and seeing it. So I'm excited for people to see it on screen. So, I mean, a lot of the locations you'll see in Baton Rouge. We film partly in New Orleans, but for the most part, these are kids that grew up in Baton Rouge. And so, yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I guess just like diving into the world that is Louisiana.
Yeah.
We see all the weather changes too on the
Yeah.
show as well.
Yeah.
It ranged from like sweaters and like some, shorts and everything. But
And I feel like it's innately in me no matter what. I'm originally from, I grew up in Mississippi and Louisiana my entire life, like from basically half my life there and half my life in LA. So it was kind of like going back home and I got to see my family. I haven't seen it so long. And I feel like it also just comes out in the characters. There's a lot of y'alls,
a lot of yes, a lot of y'all, a lot of
there's a ton of
y'all.
y'alls. But it's also, and this is one thing about shooting in that sort of, the Louisiana culture was so nice, is it's so family oriented.
Yeah, we've made a lot of friends with people
Yeah.
that work around Baton Rouge, seeing us around town.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, it was like our crew that kind of was just
was our bubble,
infested,
baby.
like
Yeah.
infesting,
Yeah, you
like
go and-
Baton Rouge downtown. But
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's lost in the show at all.
Yeah.
We talked to some of the other cast members about the action. It's heavily action-packed and fight scenes. Are you guys heavily involved in fight scenes? Did you go with some fight choreography classes, things like that?
So we can't spoil any.
What exactly like the action is. But what we can say is through like episode 1 and 5, we were saying how it almost feels like its own kind of movie, part 1, and then once it's 6 through 10, you kind of see all the action packed, just like,
Yeah.
increase and increase and increase.
Absolutely. Like 1 through 5 is kind of like that build up that the first movie is. It's so puzzly and story. And then 2 is just like in your face.
But that's not to
immediate.
say there isn't any action in 1 and 5 either.
Not to say. There's action throughout the whole thing. But at the same time, it's just
I'm like, what can I give without
I
like
know,
like
that's-
spoiling?
I'm literally
like, what
jumping
can I
through
say?
This whole time we just be like Disney.
I know.
We're good. So guys, listen.
But you throw,
Yeah.
you throw
Yeah,
some
no,
bones,
no.
so you throw some bones
Yeah,
at some
yeah,
point.
absolutely.
I'm just gonna be talking and just get shoved away.
I mean, it's cool because you see these are like neighborhood kids from Baton Rouge, and they're getting into all sorts of trouble, and like you see them survive these instances, So it's pretty incredible to see, honestly.
It's absolutely. If you stick around, it is one hell of a journey.
It
I can
is.
tell you that right now. Yeah.
Sounds like you guys had so much fun. Are you really hoping for a season 2?
Oh my gosh.
Is there a
I hope so.
I'm not saying I'd cry, but I'd probably cry.
Right
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of cameras you can
Yeah.
Disney.
Disney season 2, we would love to do it.
It'd be so sick if
We
you
would love
thought
to
about
do.
a season 2. That'd be dope. No, I feel like there's so much story to still be told, especially with our characters. There's so many places to go, and yeah, we would love that.
It only increase 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Maybe a movie show combination.
Maybe never say never.
And, like,
Never say never.
Yeah.
The treasure hunting group. He's kind of the voice of reason at times, but he's also Jess's childhood best friend, and they have a very strong bond and connection from growing up together. And he's just very protective over him, so he's willing to do just about anything to protect her on this treasure hunt.
Yep. And I'm a rookie FBI agent, Agent Ross. She was top of her class at Quantico, brilliant, but very determined and maybe a little headstrong. And she was assigned a huge case right out of Quantico, and I botched it. I got the wrong guy. So I got demoted down to the Baton Rouge field office, where in my first week, Jess and Tasha waltz in with this story about treasure and the kidnapping, and I just think I'm being hazed by all of the like senior FBI agents. Like they're all watching me on a monitor from the back and like snickering at the new girl. But then I kind of start to piece together that maybe this is not all baloney, and kind of start following all of them. And I'm a couple paces behind them trying to piece it all together. So she's going on her own journey to figure out what's actually going on.
So is Agent Ross a friend or a foe?
So there's an arc there, because in the beginning, like I said, I don't take them seriously. They're two teenagers who just waltzed into the FBI with a possible treasure relic. But she does have this great journey of maybe she's gonna start helping them. Maybe she actually believes them. So we kind of get to see that happen through the season. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the movies. How do if so, how do the movies inform the show?
Well, we're 20 years later, you know, like the same characters exist. Many of them pop up in our show. We reference them. And we keep that spirit of National Treasure going, but as opposed to 2 movies, you get 10 mini movies, because we're doing a whole series.
Yeah, and the pace is there. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
very pacey show, and as soon as you start, you just got to strap in because you're on a ride, and it's just been a really fun story to tell.
Yeah.
Fun treasure to find.
And National Treasure is all about those like big set pieces, those action set pieces, right? And we deliver one of those in every single episode. So it's really fun. Yeah.
Oh, it was the first thing we wanted to do. It was the most important thing ever, because it was like the first 2 movies were, told the story of the founding fathers and all the, those guys. It was time to tell the story of people who came from the South and from Latin America, and also the time to tell a female-centric version too. Like we wanted to do, it's we did Ben Franklin and all those male historical figures in the movies. We wanted to do female historical figures that are underrepresented in the past, that people don't really know their stories. So we found a couple of fun people that we don't want to tell you who they are. We want you guys to watch and then look them up. But that was really important to us. So diversity, cast, diversity of story in the story, and we just had great partners in Disney and ABC that supported us completely doing that.
Well, what was it about the movies that made you like, we can make a series out of this?
Well, it's the world. It's like series are always based on the world, and we just feel like we like it. I mean, we're fans of, like we said, we're fans of the movie. We got to work with John Turteltaub and all these people. We're not the authors, we're curators of this whole thing, and it's like we always just wanted to just do a fun treasure hunt world where we could just do like 10 episodes,
Yeah.
10 episodes, and do 23andMe with our hero. That's what we wanted to really like. Who is she? Where did she come from? Because we all come from somewhere, and like I did 23andMe. I know exactly where I come from.
Well, yeah, he's 99.9%.
99.9%. I know
Irish.
where I come.
I'm a lot more diverse, but yeah, it's too funny.
Nathan told us it's gonna be like a big action set piece on every episode, sort of a deal. So how challenging, how elaborate, how complicated are these action sequences, and were there any of them from the storyboard that you couldn't really pull off?
An answer to kind of both questions is like, yeah, it's a 10-hour movie, because that's how we think. It's a 10-hour movie. But you did have to squeeze more capers in there. You had to squeeze, because it's 10 hours, so we had to squeeze more than just one kidnap the president.
Borrow.
So we had to, but yeah, we try to do, like especially maybe not the first one so much, but we do every episode gets
It just
more and
builds.
more. Yeah.
It builds, and by the midpoint, it's like a roller coaster ride. You kind of go up, and then we were so surprised that Disney Plus and ABC embraced all the action adventure, because it's not just sitting in a room discussing treasure. It's going out on the road, and it's going up against bad guys, and we were just like, oh my God, are they going to allow us to do it? And they did.
Yeah, and we were really lucky.
We're very
that they
fortunate.
supported it. That they gave us the budget to do it. So yeah. More romance with a love triangle. You can't really do that with, we had a little bit of it with Abigail and her, but we got to do more, because it's TV and movies are sort of the same now. It's kind of the same, but TV shows are longer. But so we did have to fill it with a lot more relationship stuff, a lot more, because you can't do Mission Impossible every episode. We did not have the budget for that.
Or Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's more pressure on this series without having Nicolas Cage, which is like the front man this time around?
For sure, like everybody wants Nick, but we always, say that I think Jake said it, it's like his spirit, like this show is 20 years after the last, or 17 years after the last movie. We pick it up exactly from that. It's like 17 years later, this is where Harvey Keitel is, this is where he has a grandson.
This is where Riley Poole is.
Yeah, Riley Poole has 3 books now and a podcast.
I was gonna ask if he had any more books.
Yeah, and so we try to like carry those, and Ben Gates figures in the universe very prominently because he's like a huge, like Bob Ballard, he's a big treasure hunter guy. He's discovered 2 huge treasures. He discovered the Titanic, basically. His presence is there. So while he's not physically there, the series wouldn't be the show without the Ben Gates of it all.
I'm really excited about the storyline of Jess being a dreamer, and I'm wondering how much of that aspect of her character factors into the overall story.
It's
everything.
It's everything in the story.
It's not just a thing.
Yeah.
What are you hoping audiences take away from that storyline?
Well, we're hoping that everyone can identify with Jess's journey. We want everyone across the country, and then we want them to go, oh, I didn't realize she had to deal with that. And with each step, so we want everyone to kind of go, oh, that's what it means to be a dreamer. I didn't know that. And a lot of the stuff that I learned in the room too. We had a dreamer on our staff. So, and she would tell us things stories
that made it into the show.
There would be things in relationship stuff that I never even thought of that she would explain to us, and we go, oh, that's really interesting.
So just like the edutainment of the historical element of the franchise, it's all about edutainment and educational entertainment. We want people to first and foremost be entertained. It's an adventure story. Jess is like crazy, taking on insane adventures with her friends, but then at the same time you're learning something about her status and like what it means to be that. So we learned.
How are you doing? Pretty good. You have about 40 seconds left.
Okay. He mentioned Nick Cage. You have the door open for him to come make a cameo or an appearance?
We have the door open for him if we have a season 2.
Okay.
But season 1 is probably not. He's just too busy. But we do have a 3rd Easter egg character coming. So that'll be from the 2 movies. Yeah.
Good. I'm excited.
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you? Good.
Can you talk about your characters in the series?
Yeah. Take it away.
So I play Tasha Rivers, and she is one of the 4 best friends. She's also Jess's roommate. And Tasha runs a really big social media platform where she schools her audience on internet privacy and like how to keep the government out of your business, because she swears someone is always listening. So she brings that tech savvy aspect to the hunt, which any good treasure hunt needs somebody to crack some codes and break down some walls. So that's Tasha.
Yeah, and I play Oren, who is also one of the best friends, and he's got levels. The guy he runs a sneaker resale platform. He's a sneakerhead, so that was something that I had to kind of learn, because I'll buy a pair of $40 sneakers and be good for a year,
I've watched them do it. Yeah.
But I definitely had to learn that world. But also he's got this sort of concerning knowledge of conspiracy theories. That's, on one hand, he can say these wild things like, oh my God, the dog buried the treasure. And you're like, what? What's going on in your head, buddy? You're a wild card. But also he'll come out of nowhere with the answer to a clue that they've been trying to figure out, and they crack it. So he's, a broken clock is right twice a day. That was literally in the character description, was basically what he's like. And it's a joy to play, truly.
Yeah.
It's great.
Julie, I feel like you bring all the energy to this cast. Like, you come to
Boom.
the table. How long do you keep the rest of them like up and about doing this whole 2-man show?
Oh my goodness. I think first of all, we sing all day long from the time we get to set, from the time we rap. We first met in New York back in December, something like that, for dinner, and we sang the entire Les Mis from beginning to end.
Yeah.
We can do it after if you
It
want.
was a show you'd have to be
Okay,
there.
please join us.
It's pretty amazing.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of got mixy with the last part of your question.
No, I
but
was
hope that
just saying,
answered.
like, how well do you bring your energy to the rest of the team? Like, you keep them up and going.
Yeah. We're always rooting for each other if somebody has an issue or we're not feeling our best. I'm always there. Antonio was always there. We're just there to help each other because we're a literal family.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
She's the bomb.
Yeah.
Your character has all these conspiracy theories, right? So,
Yeah.
what can you mention any sort of the crazier ones, or did you do some research and find some just whacked out ones out there?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm able to say many things, but I know that there was one that is actually not in the show anymore, and it was a part of my audition, talking about. Actually, I don't know if I'm even.
Like which one? I don't know.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but it was all about the Masons and how they built the pyramids and stuff like that. Or no, it was actually extraterrestrials who disguised as humans who now run a secret cabal that rules the world. You know what I'm saying?
Which is true.
Yeah. So that he has a lot of that knowledge, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to like dive deep into those, and there's a lot. There's actually some that are very true that I talk about, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I can't say anything right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty tame. It's just random, which is so weird. He's got so many things going on that like, that's one part of him. He's got the sneakers. Sometimes he'll tailor a suit. It's like he's such a wild card.
Lauren's
And this
a
was
great
so,
guy.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a jack of all trades for sure.
Yeah. He's fun.
Earlier we were talking about the sets, how do you guys have a favorite set piece without giving too much away that you guys have worked on thus far?
They were all incredible. You go, because I got to think.
Maybe Sadusky's Clue Room.
Oh.
Really, really cool. There's some artifacts from the movies as well. So if you are like a national treasure, like you know it from beginning to end, you'll definitely see some cool Easter eggs
Oh yeah.
in that room.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I really liked the pool house that myself and Jordan, who plays Ethan in the show, that we live together in. It's a pretty badass place, and there's a pool table. It's really fun.
I want you to know the first time we ever saw the pool house, we were like,
I was like, what is going on?
Can I
What are
move
we a
in?
part of right now? This is insane.
Yeah.
We were like, let's have the rap party here. This is
Right.
like the
Can we
coolest
please?
place ever. So
really cool.
They talked about a love triangle that's supposed to be in the show.
yeah,
Which character is that supposed to be?
the other ones.
Yeah.
No, it's between Liam, Jess, and Ethan.
Yeah.
Now, did you feel like that chemistry between them felt real? Like they were actually in a thing on set? Like.
Well, I mean, behind the scenes, we're all just
Just friends, but
we love each other. But they did such a beautiful job, and also like the cinematography, the camera angles. Sometimes it really hints at it. Like there's a scene where, twice in the same scene, one is with two of them and one like in the middle of them, and then it's
like,
flipped around,
refocus
all in
to-
the same scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if I described that right, but you'll see it. You'll notice it for sure. It's very cool.
You mentioned how Tasha sort of has to reevaluate her belief system.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what
Well,
belief
Tasha,
system?
Tasha is very anti-FBI, anti-government. So, of course, Jess's dream job is to be in the FBI. And with Lyndon's character, Agent Ross, you know, there's so many times when she has to go, okay, let me put my thoughts aside because there's a bigger picture. Tasha is very strong and she's a leader and she is always wanting to help her friends. So if that means that she has to put her differences aside, it's just like, you know, so be it. You know?
She does a beautiful job.
Oh. I paid him to say that, you know.
Yeah, it was planted for sure.